It's the kind. It's not like the audible like. Wah, 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 wah. It's the kind that you like. The really quiet, but like giggling that makes your stomach muscles hurt.
That's good.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
If I heard
I'd be like the Tasmanian devils
you're
loose in
watching
the
the movie.
theater.
Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to the Movie Toast podcast. I am your host, Tommy Brozine. And with me are my two other co-hosts, Mr. Will Forte, Adam Hart.
Well, hello. I hope you like Last Man Standing. I'm sorry, Last Man on Earth. Last Man Standing. That'd be weird. That's Tim Allen.
I have my other special co-host today, Mr. Tom Cruise, Dennis Korn.
Oh, okay. I didn't know I
see
subscribe to the Church of Scientology, but sure, I'll take it.
And like I said before, my name is Tommy Brozine, a.k.a. Russell Crowe.
Oh.
It is very, 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 very nice to be with you guys today for another episode, another review episode, that is. So why don't we get into it and get started on our review? So, Mr. Will Forte, why don't you start us off?
So I actually got to go out for once. I went to a drive-in movie.
Nice.
Yeah. Over in Rhode Island, there was a nice place. They did social distancing. It was really nice. At a Blumhouse double feature, I saw The Hunt and The Invisible Man, both of which I really enjoyed.
Nice.
This was my second viewing of both. I caught them both in theaters before this whole pandemic happened. But if you want to hear me wax poetically about The Hunt, I think you should go back if you haven't listened to episode 5, reviews episode 5, or Talking with John Henry. I really gave him my all for that episode. And if you want to hear about The Invisible Man, you can listen to reviews episode 3 or Tommy watched some of Mulan. Both are really good episodes. I hope Tommy may have watched more of Mulan since then, but we'll find out.
I haven't done it.
No, yeah.
Can't say that I have.
But
thank you for those recaps. How was the drive-in?
The drive-in was fantastic.
So I have nothing to relate to a drive-in experience.
I can't wait till you get to go there. It's gonna be good, buddy.
Was it a full lot?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They were doing social distancing, which was nice. They had a car's length in between each car, so it wasn't a full lot. And they would only allow 3 people in the bathroom per time, and they only had there was 2 toilets. One was in, one was out, and then 3 stalls, and they put 1 X in between the second stall. Yeah, you buy your tickets online.
What about
Worked pretty nicely.
Oh wow.
Concessions you could order online and then just show up and pick up, or you could go. I don't know. I got Wendy's.
Didn't fuck around.
How many
with that.
people? Was it just you?
Just me and Sarah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was like $27, but if you bought 4 tickets in the theater or you bought these movies on VOD, it'd be more money. So.
Oh yeah, dude.
That was nice.
That's a great deal. That's a good date night.
Now, okay, I have a question because, like I said, I've never been to a drive-in, so I've heard different ways that the drive-in works. Mm-hmm. Did you have the audio coming through your speakers in your car, or did they have a box that you put next to your?
I used my own. I actually used my cell phone. It's really loud. Yeah, because
cool.
I didn't want to use my battery because I don't know.
I was gonna say, if you have to listen to it through your radio, that means your car has to be on, right?
Yeah, but you just put it on the aux. You don't fully turn it on, but you run the risk. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, this was really cool. I normally go to this one in Massachusetts called the Minden Twin Drive-In, but they haven't opened up yet. They can open next week, but that's a whole different thing. I went to one called Rustic Tri-View Drive-In. It's a 3 picture drive-in. And I've gone there in the past, and I'm going to go back there again, I think, because they're actually at a slant. And they have the little cars parked in front, so nothing's going to get in the way.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And the movie was supposed to start at 8:30. They started at 8:15. I'm like, oh, that's weird, but fucking I'm here. I don't care.
So you missed the beginning of the movie?
No, I shut up on time. And the beauty is, they didn't even play any fucking trailers. They just jumped right in the movie.
Wow.
It was
a double feature.
Yeah, there was a small intermission for 10 minutes, and they jumped right in the movie. And, I was out of there by 12:30. It was nice.
Wow, that's cool. That's
cool.
That's a fun.
All right, so
I don't want to waste your time talking about those.
No. Why don't you
listen to those episodes?
Yeah. So what do you got for us today?
I saw a brand spanking new movie that I purchased on Amazon called Scoob, as in Scooby Dooby Doo. That's right. His
Ooh.
first
No.
foray onto the big screen didn't happen because of the little screen. Well, at least animated wise.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. So so those of you who know Scooby-Doo, you know he's been a Hanna-Barbera character for a while. He had 2 live-action movies, which were pretty good. First one written by James Gunn. Second one, I think, story by James Gunn. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But this...
Yeah. Sorry. That's the last one. I won't do any more of this.
I didn't know very much about this movie going in, but I like going in that way.
So what is the plot?
So the plot, we meet Scooby and Shaggy for the first time as children, but they kind of did that with a pup named Scooby-Doo, but this takes place before that. So we meet them.
Oh, wow.
Shaggy is a loner kid in Venice walking by himself talking, and it looks just like Venice, which is scary. Venice Beach,
cool.
California. Yeah, and Scooby, of course, is up to Scooby. He's a cute puppy. He's up to Scooby tricks. He's stealing food. He stole like a big shawarma like meat, and the cops are after him. It's a bike cop, and then we see Shaggy talking to himself. He's like, "I told my mom I was coming here with my friends. I have no friends. I need to make friends." And he like puts on his like his MP3 player, and every song, whatever mix he goes to, it's like One Is the Loneliest Number and like other sad songs. And then you see him set up a picnic for himself, and he's talking to these 2 sand people, and it's like he made people out of sand. And Scooby hides behind the sand person, and then the cop comes like, "Oh, that dog, that stray dog, I gotta take him with me." And he's like, "Oh, he's not a stray, he's my dog." And he's like, "Well, what's the dog's name?" He's like, "Scooby." And he's like, "Okay, what's his middle name?" He's like, "Doobie." And he's like, "What's his last name?" He's like, "Do." He's like, this sounds sketchy. The cop's like, "This sounds sketchy to me, but the law is, if he has a full name, beginning, middle, and end, he has to belong to you." And I'm like, holy shit, I gotta stop for a second. This guy looks like Kevin Heffernan, Farva from Super Troopers. Looks just like him, sounds just like him, and it was him. And I met him. I got an internship from him. I just tweeted out, I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I just want to promote. He's in this." He liked it. He sent me a tweet back today. That was kind of cool. But that's not what the movie's about. So
that's dope.
Yeah. And
that's totally cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. And so after that happens, you see Scooby and Shaggy bonding. Shaggy gives Scooby his classic Scooby-Doo collar that says SD, and Scooby's like, "I love it. I'm never gonna take it off." And Shaggy says, "I'm never going anywhere." And they hug, and it's like it's a beautiful moment. And then they're trick-or-treating as Blue Falcon and what is it? Not Astro Dog.
It is something like that, though. Damn.
Yeah, like this robot dog. Their favorite characters, superheroes. And they get their bag stolen by some bullies who throw their candy into a haunted house that no kids ever want to go. Dynamite, yeah. Oh. The bullies leave. Scooby and Shaggy are like, "Oh, we can't go in there." And then Velma, Fred, and Daphne show up and like, "Hey, man, you guys okay? We saw what happened." And then they end up going into the house and they uncover a mystery, and that's when Mystery Inc. starts. And then it cuts forward, and the gang wants to make more out of Mystery Inc., and they sit down with someone who knows how to make a buck or two. They sit down with Simon Cowell, who who pretty much says Scooby and Shaggy aren't pulling their weight, and if they want to be serious, they're gonna kind of drop the dead weight. And Scooby and Shaggy just leave without even hearing any more.
Oh no!
And they're sad, so they go to their number one favorite spot, the bowling alley, and they get kind of kidnapped there. The pins come to life as little robots. The bowling balls become robots. They run outside. They're almost about to get kidnapped, and then a blue beam sucks them up into the sky. And we find out that the gang they tell Simon Cowell off, and they're like, "We gotta find Scooby and Shaggy." And then on the police scanner, they hear about this stuff happening at the bowling alley, and like, "Oh shit, that's where Scooby and Shaggy probably are. That's their favorite spot." So anyways, they get sucked up by Blue Falcon and Dynamite, because it turns out there's someone after him, Dick Dastardly, the guy from Wacky Racers. So it's a weird story. This isn't your classic Scooby-Doo, even though in the beginning, the middle of the movie, we see the classic Scooby-Doo opening of them and all their exploits, same shot by shot, just computer generated. But yeah, this is more Dick Dastardly is after Scooby-Doo because he is the living descendant of like Julius Caesar's dog. And Julius Caesar had this. Julius Caesar, this amazing land with all this gold and riches, and there was a portal that this Hydra type dog, this three-headed dog came out, Severus.
Oh,
and
yeah,
to trap him, him and the dog had to make like a portal to block it. So Scooby-Doo's the only living relative who can open that portal, and Dick Dastardly's after him. But Scooby and Shaggy don't know about this. Oh man, it's just, and so the whole time the gang's trying to find Scooby and Shaggy. They think they've been kidnapped. Scooby and Shaggy are kind of on the hanging out with their heroes, but it turns out it's not Blue Falcon that we know, and they call that out. This is a new version of him. It's his son. So things are a little different, and they pretty much convince Scooby that, hey, Dick Dastardly's after you. You must be important. They make him a superhero. He takes off the collar that Shaggy gave him, and Shaggy's heartbroken. I could go on and on. It's pretty much that's the whole movie, but I don't want to give away too much stuff here.
That's great. You did plenty. Like, I actually think I'm going to watch this.
Yeah,
it's interesting. You can rent it for like $15 or buy it for 20. So I said, fuck it, I'll buy it. But the voice cast is phenomenal. We got Shaggy is played by Will Forte. Zac Efron plays Fred. Mark Wahlberg is Blue Falcon.
Yeah.
We got Ken Jeong as Dino Mutt.
Daphne's voice is played by, do you know?
I don't.
Amanda Seyfried.
Okay, yeah, that caught me off guard in the credits. I'm like, oh, I didn't pick up on that. Tracy Morgan is Captain Caveman. Oh. And Scooby-Doo is voiced by the guy that's always done Scooby, so we get the classic Scoob.
Oh, that's cool.
Dick Dastardly is played by the guy that played Lucius Malfoy, or whoever the bad guy, the dad of the little Dick Malfoy. Yeah. It has a great fucking cast. The big thing on this movie, I know a while ago, Dax Shepard was one of the co-directors of it, and he dropped out because the animation process is just so much. I'm like, that could have been cool to see him direct this, but the co-director went on to direct it by himself.
Oh, Tony Cervoni?
Yeah. So I'll just say this movie, it wasn't what I expected, because I expected to uncover mysteries and stuff. But for what it was, if you got kids at home, if you're a Scooby fan, it's a fun story to watch. I'd say it's a green
nostalgic?
Light.
You think it'll be nostalgic?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, so I'll say green light. Check it out.
Oh, wow. Okay. Dang.
Do we get any
sounds
tidbits?
Like fun, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my God. When did this movie come out?
Friday.
I would have never guessed based on the tidbits. There's 51 of these suckers.
Oh, wow.
And I have yet to see a stinker, and I think that's because
stinker.
The good ones are up in all the good stuff is up at the top. I think once you get to the bottom, you get like this person was considered for right here.
Stinkers.
Yeah, here's some good ones here. Check this out. This is planned to be the first installment of a Hanna-Barbera cinematic.
Yes, I got to talk about that. Let me jump in. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Right before the credits roll, we just see like the big names of the movie, and there's like these beautiful like storyboard type. Here's what happened later on, and we find out the Blue Falcon team. They're joined by Adam Ant. I thought it was Magilla the gorilla, but it wasn't. It's a different gorilla. Captain Caveman joins them. You see Johnny Quest's dad. You see he's kind of inventing Rosie the robot. So, yeah, they're building up a giant world. And I'm like, I want to see this. And I know in the past you've asked me what the animation's like, and that ran through my head. I'm like, what is this like? I don't know what it's like. Sarah's like, this looks like a Barbie movie. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think it's a beautiful movie. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Tommy.
I'm glad you said that.
When I saw that, I was so excited. I'm like, yeah. I was hoping we get some Flintstones in there, but there wasn't.
Well, that's one of the trivia. I wasn't sure if I was going to put. There's silhouette portraits of Fred and Wilma Flintstone that can be seen on the wall of the haunted house.
I wish I saw that.
Yeah. That's fun.
So and then I'll give you a couple more. These are some good ones. I promise. So the film pays homage to the Hanna-Barbera characters' original voice actors. Nice. By using their names in relation to their characters. So young Shaggy first appears in front of Casey's Creations, named after Shaggy's original voice actor, Casey Kasem.
Nice.
Dastardly and Muttley were sponsored by Winchell Motor Oil, named after Dick Dastardly's original voice actor, Paul Winchell.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yes.
What was the dog? Muttley is the name?
Muttley.
Yes.
Dastardly and Muttley.
So what they do is so ingenious here. They give a reason why Dick Dastardly wants to do this so much, like why he wants to open the portal and open up this hellscape. we've learned a little later on that he opened it up before with Muttley, and Muttley got stuck in there, and he wants to free Muttley. And I'm like, that's fucking genius. You give a bad guy an amazing motivation. And when he finds Muttley, he thinks he's dead, and he's fucking torn apart. And then it turns out Muttley's alive, and it's good. But I'm like, it's so genius that they gave the bad guy motive that actually has heart and soul. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like that makes the best bad guys. They have to have a goal that you could agree with, potentially.
So the last homage is the third Cerberus skull is located at Messick Mountain, named after Scooby-Doo's original voice actor of Don Messick.
Yes, and I left that out there. I'm sorry. What they need to open up this hellscape, they got to get 3 massive dog skulls that are throughout the whole world. Cerberus. And Dastardly already has 2 of them, and they got to get to the 3rd, and that's where they meet Captain Kangaroo. He's the keeper of it.
Got it.
And then once they have that, Scooby can open the portal. I left that out. Thank you for mentioning that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Adam Hart. And let's go on to Tom Cruise, a.k.a. Dennis Korn.
Oh, I think I'm taller than that guy.
Tiny Tom Cruise.
I think there are few who aren't.
Yeah.
Take it away, Dennis.
This week I'm bringing to the table Mission Impossible.
Oh, I love that movie. It's such a good movie.
Blockbuster hit starring Tom Cruise, directed by Brian De Palma. Jon Voight, Emilio Estevez dies 30 seconds into the movie.
Oh, so sad. So sad.
Spoiler.
No. We got Jean Reno, right?
He's a great character. Probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. Ving Rhames. Anyways, great cast. But yeah, what was interesting going through this time.
I'm going to stop you real quick. Can you tell everybody a quick synopsis of what the movie is about for those that have not seen this movie?
So, there is a family that has stumbled upon a Sasquatch. Turns out the Sasquatch is just way too much to deal with, so they got to return him back out to the forest.
Whoa, shit. You watch Harry and the Hendersons? Let's do this.
Sorry.
Let's fucking talk about it.
Mission Impossible. That's where we're at. Okay, so... Mission Impossible.
I missed that part about the Sasquatch. Holy moly, I need to rewatch this movie. Jeez.
Yeah. Mind-blowing.
It was a deleted scene. It was a long scene.
The subtleties you pick up on years later are amazing.
You know, the face mask cut. The face mask stuff. They actually added inches to him, and he looks a little bit like fucking John Lithgow. It's fucking crazy.
Oh my god. That'd be great.
Jon Voight became John Lithgow?
No, Tom Cruise
pulls off.
Tom Cruise
pulls his mask off, and there's John Lithgow beneath Tom Cruise.
Wow.
But he's playing himself as John Lithgow.
Man, those director's cuts just get crazier and crazier, man. I need to watch
It's worth every penny to watch each one.
Totally, yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, Mission Impossible. It is about a group of American government agents. They've accepted this mission. Jon Voight is the leader of this crew. They are trying to find a master list of all of these undercover government agents, and it's going up for auction, and they are trying to prevent it from just getting out in the open. What ends up happening is the whole team is double-crossed, and our main character, Ethan Hunt, played by Tom Cruise, is framed to look like he was in on it, that he helped set all this up. So he's on his own trying to figure out who's the one who set him up, as well as try to recover the list and keep it out of the bad folks' hands.
Yep, some classic Tom Cruise in there.
Definitely, yeah. There's the classic repelling scene that this was just reference to shit for like 2 decades after that movie came out. But a reviewing like this, years later, I had fond memories before. Going into it, I would say it is a green light. The thing that stood out to me on this viewing was the pacing. It's not a movie that gets made. Even the current Mission Impossible movies are not paced like this anymore. It is something I don't think, if you just released this now, if Mission Impossible didn't exist and you just dropped the 96 version in theaters right now, I think it would tank. I do not think it would do well. It actually you have to follow dialogue. You can have 2 or 3 scenes of dialogue go end to end, which I feel like not everyone remembers going into the movie, that so much of espionage is information.
Yeah.
And that's what most of the movie is. In fact, that is the plot of the movie. It is the exchange of information. That's really what it's centered around. But I've always loved that type of stuff. I've loved like the Tom Clancy, like the Jack Ryan movies, and I really like this type of government espionage subject matter. And that still holds up to me. I feel like that if you know you're getting into this, if you've never seen this before, but you know you like that type of movie, you're a fan of Spy Game or 3 Days at the Condor, where you're going to have those heightened moments, but every scene between is just that, this is the what's next. How are we going to accomplish the goal? How are we going to get out of here? I like that those still hold water. The scene in the restaurant immediately following the collapse of the team where he's going to meet his handler, I love the tension in that scene because if you looking at it from both perspectives, every character has the right to think what they're thinking. Ethan Hunt has the right to think that his handler is holding him over a barrel and trying to frame him. The handler has every right to think Ethan Hunt is the guy who just fucked everyone, and we need to apprehend this guy right now. I really liked all of that stuff.
It's when you're like, if you were sitting there watching them in the restaurant, you'd be doing one of these where you're like looking over here, looking over there, looking at this guy, looking at that guy. Oh my God, what's going to happen?
Yeah, it's like,
and I think the camera shots, they do a really good job going back and forth like that.
And not just the back and forth and the edits, but the angles they're using of the conversation. You really get how stressed out Ethan is, and he's. We just saw how comfortable he was in this really crazy situation. The fact that he's getting this fucking twisted and sitting there in that chair really said a lot. And then the build up to the train scene at the end of the movie. It's cool. It's it's still over the top. Is that something that when this movie, if you were told there's going to be 5 fucking more of these movies, I don't think you would have guessed they would have got as big as they are, scaling up the sides of skyscrapers in Dubai, and
that's
some
the
of the
thing,
crazy
though.
shit they end up doing.
I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like with each movie, they should get worse, but I feel like they get bigger and crazier and better and more enjoyable. Like, it just tops itself so many times.
I would agree
and
with you.
The stunts that he does, you're like, how's he gonna be? Like, they're even talking now. They're shooting the 2 next movies back to back, and the director/writer, he's like, I have a hard time figuring out how I'm gonna top what I did in the last movie.
I can imagine, but just like you were saying, I feel like every movie has outdone the previous one.
Oh yeah,
and in no bad way. Like, and not to downplay the movie before it. What is that? Do most people say like the second one is probably the least favorite?
I think
that was
so.
One of my favorites for the longest time, which is also due for a rewatch because I'm curious if my opinion has changed by now. But with the first Mission Impossible, even after, I don't know, it's probably been over a decade since I watched it. Still a solid green light. Still a great movie. If you were to introduce this to a younger audience member, like a teenage brother or a cousin or whatever the hell, it might be a little different. I don't think it plays out the same way. Especially, one of the telling things is just the state of what technology was. The movie came out in 96. There's issues and problems they had in this movie that just wouldn't exist because of modern technology.
Makes sense.
And it's kind of fun just to see this time capsule of how that ever could have worked.
Awesome.
Yeah. Still a solid entry in the series. Great movie.
The fact that, what are they on, 7? I think there's 8, 9 they're doing. And the fact that like 3 movies ago, I want to say 5 or 6, they wanted to phase out Tom Cruise with Jeremy Renner. They tried. And they realized we got gold here, and they've had it for years.
Yep,
he can
something
do it.
About this.
I do like Jeremy Renner in the cast. I think he does a really good job. I like Simon Pegg a little bit more.
I love Simon Pegg.
Yeah. When they introduced Simon in, and you remember when they first introduced, he really didn't play a big role.
Yeah,
it wasn't until I think Ghost Protocol. Ghost Protocol has to be hands down my favorite of all the Mission Impossibles, in my opinion. Because that was like the newer cast, the newer stuff, but still, I don't know. Something about that movie I like more than any of the other ones.
The fact that Tom Cruise does his own stunts, like he Halo dived for like a month straight to get that whole scene in the last movie. He broke his leg.
He was hanging off the side of the airplane. Yeah,
he has to be a liability for insurance companies, but they know he's fucking worth it, so they keep paying him.
He's going to bring in $100 million.
That airplane stunt in not the most recent one, but the one before that, where he was hanging on the side. He literally was hanging on the side of that airplane. I mean, he had harnesses and stuff, of course.
Still.
I'll be the first to say, Tom Cruise is amazing. He carries the series. He's crazy, but damn, he is Ethan Hunt. I was gonna say you got to give props to just the cinematography department. The coverage they got. That helicopter chase in the last one through the canyons was fucking awesome.
He wanted to learn to fly for that.
Yeah,
I think he might have actually done that, but I don't know. I'm sorry. I know I hijacked that and talked about all these other movies, but the point is, without your movie that you're reviewing, we would never have. I think these movies are better than some of the James Bond movies.
I do know, maybe it's in your tidbits, because I just thought of one thing that I thought was fun.
I'll let you know.
I'm not sure if it's still there. The scene where Jean Reno is trying to say he's got the list. He's got the floppy disk. The fucking floppy disk.
Yeah.
In his hand, and he thinks he's had the list, and Ethan is trying to convince him he's not.
Right.
The sleight of hand he's using, he actually practiced so they could get the shot.
Nice.
And that's actually Tom Cruise. He's genuinely making it appear as if, he's doing the trick.
He did a really good job with that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just a couple other trivias, if I may. This one's funny. This one made me laugh. While filming the famous scene where Tom Cruise drops from the ceiling and hovers inches above the ground, Cruise's head kept hitting the floor.
Oh, boy.
But not like a big thunk, but he kept hitting the ground when he was trying to be like, this close to the floor, until he got the idea to put coins in his shoes for balance. Huh. That's what balanced out so his head wouldn't keep hitting the ground.
Tom Cruise, you fathead.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What else? Let's see. So this is crazy. So not only is this the only film in the franchise where Ethan Hunt doesn't fire a gun. I say it again. He does not fire a gun in the entire movie of Mission Impossible.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. It is also the only one to not have any shootouts or gunfights whatsoever. Yeah, there's only like five gunshots throughout the entire movie.
Huh. That goes with what I was saying before. Like, it's the pacing is not something that I think people would remember or even think is still a Mission Impossible movie, but it still has the tension. It still has that intensity. It still delivers that experience, lower key, but it's a part of that ramp up. As you can start going through the movies, it just gets fucking wild, man.
And it came out in 96. I was 12 years old. I was 12.
I wasn't allowed to watch this when it first came out.
You probably wouldn't understand what was going on either.
No, but it made a hell of a cool Nintendo 64 game I got to play at my friend's house. That's for sure.
Oh, I remember that. Yep. All right. Well, Dennis, do you have anything else you'd like to add about the movie before we move on?
It's the movie from my childhood that I remember, and still a good time.
All right.
Tommy, what did you watch this week?
Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah,
let's move on. I'm going to take over as Russell Crowe, a.k.a. Tommy Brezine, in my movie. That's not really helping much because there's been a lot of Russell Crowe movies. Maybe this will help too. His co-star, Ryan Gosling.
Oh, I thought you were going to say his co-star, Tom Cruise, and connect it with The Mummy.
Oh.
Dang. Missed up.
Russell Crowe was not in The Mummy.
He played Dr. Jekyll or someone in the Tom Cruise.
You're right.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. That was a great
The Mummy
we
erased from history.
The darkest universe that will never be seen again.
It could have been great. I didn't have a problem with that. Anyways, that's not the movie I'm reviewing. That's not the movie. No, the movie I'm talking about came out in 2016. I wish I would have seen it in theaters. I watched it later on demand. It was called The Nice Guys. And this is an action comedy crime movie that takes place in like the 60s, I want to say? 70s?
Sure.
60s, 70s?
Somewhere back then.
Somewhere back then. I'll tell you guys, this was such a pleasurable movie. Anytime I've watched it, I could watch this anytime, and it's great. It's hilarious. It's got scenes in this movie that are so funny, my insides hurt from laughing. You can't stop.
And it's that quick wit of Shane Black. He is an amazing writer who does action and comedy perfectly.
The chemistry between Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling was phenomenal. They really worked well together.
Nice.
Ryan Gosling is hilarious. Hilarious in this movie. So the movie's about a mismatched pair of dicks or gumshoes.
Gumshoes, that's a good one.
They investigate the mysterious death of a porn star and a missing girl, and they quickly find out that the two are related. Actually, one of them was sent to the other guy to leave the girl alone. So Russell Crowe was sent to Ryan Gosling like, hey, leave this girl alone. He's like, no, I'm a private investigator. She's who I'm supposed to go find. Ryan Gosling, he's the kind of guy that he'll take any job that's given to him, even if like he preys on the old and the weak. So if like an old lady comes up to him and's like, hey, my husband's been missing for 2 weeks. There was a shot of him looking up and seeing the urn on the mantelpiece. And the old lady just forgot that her husband passed away. So he's like, okay, ma'am, I will do whatever I can. I'm sorry I haven't found him yet, so I might need a couple more weeks in advance to help find. So he's a
kind of a dirtbag then.
Kind of a dirtbag, but
he's a loving dirtbag with a daughter.
She was a good compliment to Ryan Gosling because you see Ryan Gosling as this sleaze, and then his daughter is like the opposite. Like she's the mature. She drives him around everywhere.
She's the adult in the family.
The adult in the family, yeah. We find out later on that the wife passed away, and so between Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe and the daughter, they managed to figure out. Well, I mean, spoilers, yeah. They figure out the plot. They find the missing girl. Well, find her for a little bit, and then so it's a great, if you guys like mystery movies, crime movies, that type of stuff. Okay. Are you guys pretty good with like the whole film noir type stuff?
Yeah.
I enjoy that stuff. Yeah.
This kind of to me is like a modern day noir.
And it looks perfectly shot too. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's like really old LA, and like you can believe it. It's great.
Nice.
And I will say right now, hands down, anytime I watch this movie, if I'm watching it online, where I can rewind it, if I'm not watching it live on TV, and I can rewind it, the scene that gets me every time, no matter how many times, I'll watch it 10 times in a row, just repeat, loop, loop, loop. After he falls down the hill, and he finds the dead guy who ends up being the producer. His reaction to the dead body, I'm talking about Ryan Gosling's reaction, is the closest I've ever seen to an Abbott and Costello type. Like if you guys have ever seen Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, you know what movie I'm talking about.
Of it. Yeah.
When Dracula opens up the coffin and what's his name is hey Abbott. And he can't talk. He's so scared he can't get anything out. Ryan Gosling does that, and he drops the cigarette, and he's trying to and he can't get the words out. Died laughing. I literally died laughing. It was so
one of
funny.
my favorite scenes. I think is when Russell Crowe busts in on Ryan Gosling on the toilet in the stall. I love that scene. Right when you mentioned the movie,
you just got Tommy to spit water out of his mouth. That's good. You just got a spit take out of Tommy.
I didn't mean to interrupt your drink, but that scene just was hilarious and fun.
He goes to open the door to the stall, and it keeps closing on him.
See, okay, can I point something out? This should mean something. The amount of time you spent talking about how much you enjoyed rewatching that same scene and how funny you thought it was, you laughed so much harder when Adam started describing the scene. Like he didn't finish. He got halfway through the first sentence and you were gone.
Well, that's the beauty of this movie. There are so many scenes that are funny.
Oh, definitely a green light. Go see it if you own it. Watch it again.
Right.
Do you have any tidbits on this?
Oh, there's so many tidbits on here. Have not. I was so into talking about the movie, I did not get. Okay, so the porn star Misty Mountains. Yeah.
Leave out the pineapple. I don't like pineapple tidbits.
Pineapple tidbits.
You can leave the pineapple in there. Just don't put the cherries in there.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Okay. So Russell Crowe put on some extra weight for the role of Jackson Healy.
Yeah, that's why he put on weight.
Feeling the character as an enforcer thug should be a stocky brawler.
What's his excuse for the movie The Mummy? He was very large in that one.
I believe him.
I'm putting on weight for a role that's coming up soon, dude. That's why I'm 300 pounds now.
You've seen the movie. His character, Jackson Healy, do you think he would have been as tough of a dude if he would have been less stocky?
Yeah, man, Russell Crowe's always been a tough-looking motherfucker.
I don't know. Jet Li's a pretty tough-looking dude in a lot of the movies he's in. He's not a...
I'm just saying, the last couple of movies I've seen Russell Crowe in, he's been a portly gentleman. That's coming from me. I'm fat as fuck, so
he's
that's
the whole pizza. He's been the full-course meal.
He's had the pie and a few more slices.
So apparently the dialogue between the bartender and the detectives where he says he'll stop doing it, doing what, is the same line from Iron Man 3 when Rhodey and Tony interrogate Mandarin.
Which is ironic because
both films are
Shane
directed
Black,
and
Yeah, sorry, I jumped in. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Shane Black, director and co-writer of both of those movies. So he threw something in from there. Do you guys have anything you want to add? Because I'm out of stuff to talk about for Nice Guys.
That these toasters need to get on the tweets and the grams, the Reddits, the what am I forgetting?
Twitter,
Discord.
Reddit. All those motherfucking places were at movie_toast. Did I cut you off?
Please.
Fuck me.
Oh no, you're fine. No.
Okay.
I'm excited to talk about the things too. Get to find us on
subscribe.
YouTube. Yeah, get the. We got some exciting stuff we want to make with you guys. Hit us up,
folks, ladies and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and give us some suggestions. Hit us up or listen to our commentary episodes. We got a couple of them.
Oh yeah.
We've got a couple more we can hit you with, but what's
we want to keep doing them too. We want to keep doing them too.
Yeah, so we're lacking the downloads that we have there. We don't know if it's the subject matter or if the way we're talking. What do you guys? That's a good point, Dennis. We've never called that out. Thank you. Like, tell us what you want to hear us talk about. Give commentary true.
So ladies and gentlemen, it's very easy concept. We can't improve on our podcast unless we hear from you guys on where we need to improve. If you guys want to hear new stuff, if you want to hear different stuff, if you want us to change what we're doing in any way, we probably won't. But
no.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I was going really good. There, and then I kind of went down into the ditch.
Or if you just love everything, tell us that too.
Tell us that too. If there's nothing for us to change, let us know that. Because honestly, right now
we live in a hole. There's so much you can change with us.
Well, lately everyone's kind of been in a hole. But no, honestly, if we don't hear anything from you, there's a saying: no news is good news. Well, in this case, no news doesn't really tell us anything.
Yeah,
and we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. Now, granted, if that works out in your favor, meaning you like what we're doing, then great. But we still need to hear from you. So let us know.
And Tommy's going to keep asking you.
Yes. Every episode, I will keep.
Yeah, that's Tommy's part.
No, I mean right now. He's not going to stop talking.
I will not
until
stop
you go comment.
Until you go comment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look after this episode airs. I'm going to look down at the comment section, and if I see a comment on there, then we'll know we can stop the episode. But until then, I'm just going to keep on going.
God damn, I got to edit around this. This is going to be so much. I don't even think I'll be able to sleep. This is going to be like a 48-hour episode. Actually, I don't fucking know if it'll ever end because how are we going to post it if he's still talking?
Boom, boom, boom.
And then Adam was still going too with that because he was still going and going and going and going. And so now I'm just repeating myself. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do. Thank you for listening. If you stayed with us this long, please make sure stay inside, stay healthy,
stay toasty.
Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.